Hi friends, what's up? How you doing? Welcome back to the Verses and Thoughts. Today we're gonna go through the third story of Masnavi Ma'navi first book. As you remember, the second story was about the slave and the girl. So today we're gonna continue the same one with another subject. You ready? Let's just get started then. The name of this story is The Manifestation of the Physician's Helplessness in Treating the Slave Girl, the King's Turning to God and His Dream of a Saint. This part of Rumi's Masnavi highlights the limits of human effort and the power of divine intervention. The physicians failed to cure the slave girl, prompting the king to turn to God in humility. In his dream, a saint appears offering divine guidance, symbolizing that true healing comes only through surrender to the divine will. First verse is coming. Not yet. So, as I have said before, the king is symbol of the soul and the slave girl is the symbol of the lower self. شه چو عجز آن حکیمان را بدید پا برهنه جانب مسجد دوید. When the king saw the helplessness of the physicians, he ran barefoot toward the mosque. Upon witnessing the physician's inability to cure the slave girl, the king humbles himself completely and runs barefoot to the mosque. This act symbolizes his surrender to God, acknowledging that only divine intervention can bring to healing and resolution. رفت در مسجد سوی محراب شد، سجدگاه از اشک شه پر آب شد. He entered the mosque and moved toward the prayer niche. The place of prostration was flooded with the king's tears. The king, overwhelmed with humility and despair, seeks divine mercy. His tears at the prayer niche symbolize complete surrender to God's will. چون به خویش آمد ز غرقاب فنا، خوش زبان بگشاد در مدح و دعا. When he emerged from the depths of annihilation, he joyfully opened his tongue in praise and prayer. After being immersed in the depths of humility and surrender, the king regains his composure and begins to praise and supplicate God. This reflects the transformative power of surrender when despair gives way to heartfelt connection with the divine through prayer and gratitude. که کمینه بخششت ملک جهان، من چه گویم چون تو میدانی نهان. O you whose smallest gift is the kingdom of the world, what can I say when you know the secrets within? The king humbly addresses God, acknowledging that even the vast worldly kingdom is insignificant compared to God's smallest blessing. He admits his inability to express his needs, trusting in God's knowledge of his innermost secrets and his complete dependence on divine grace. ای همیشه حاجت ما را پناه، بار دیگر ما غلط کردیم راه. O you who are always a refugee for our needs, once again we have strayed from the path. The king humbly turns to God, recognizing him as the eternal refuge for all needs. He admits his errors in judgment and acknowledges his deviation from the right path, seeking divine forgiveness and guidance with deep humility. لیک گفتی گرچه میدانم سرت or سرت زود هم پیدا کنش بر ظاهرت. But you said, although I know your essence, quickly make it visible in your appearance. This verse points to the idea that one must ask God with a pure intention, even though the essence or truth is known. It is essential to seek God's help for it to be revealed in one's actions and appearance. چون برآورد از میان جان خروش، اندر آمد بحر بخشایش به جوش. When a cry arose from the depths of the soul, the sea of mercy began to surge. This verse reflects the soul's deep yearning and sincere plea, which calls forth divine mercy. The cry from within symbolizes the soul's genuine request for help and purification, and in response, God's boundless mercy rises, ready to cleanse and heal the soul. It emphasizes the power of true repentance and the infinite grace of God. در میان گریه خوابش در رو بود، دید در خواب او که پیری رو نمود. In the midst of his tears, sleep took him away. He saw in his dream an elder appear. This verse symbolizes that in moments of sorrow, divine guidance appears to the soul in a dream, offering wisdom and direction. گفت ای شه مژده حاجاتت رواست، گر غریبی آیتت فرداز ماست. He said, O king, good news, your needs are granted. If a stranger comes to you tomorrow, it is from us. This verse highlights divine assurance that the soul's needs will be met. The stranger represents an unexpected divine blessing or guidance, which will come from a higher source. It reflects the idea that help and fulfillment are often provided in surprising and divine ways. چون که آید او حکیمی حاذق است، صادقش دان کو امین و صادق است. When he comes, he is a wise and skillful sage. Recognize him as truthful, for he is honest and trustworthy. This verse refers to the arrival of a wise guide, symbolizing divine wisdom or a spiritual mentor. The soul is encouraged to recognize and trust in this guidance as it comes from a place of truth and reliability. در علاجش سحر مطلق را ببین، در مزاجش قدرت حق را ببین. See in his treatment the magic of the absolute. See in his temperament the power of God. It highlights the extraordinary power of divine healing. The treatment represents the divine intervention or wisdom which appears as miraculous. The temperament signifies the embodiment of God's power, showing that true healing comes from a higher divine source. چون رسید آن وعدگاه و روز شد، آفتاب از شرق اخترسوز شد. When the promised time and day arrived, the sun rose from the east, burning like a star. The verse symbolizes the arrival of divine fulfillment and enlightenment. The promised time refers to the moment of spiritual awakening or revelation, and the rising sun symbolizes the illumination of truth. The sun's intensity reflects the overwhelming power and clarity of divine guidance which burns away ignorance. بود اندر منظره شه منتظر، تا ببیند آنچه بنمودند سر. The king was waiting in the scene to see what had been shown to him in the vision. The verse shows the soul waiting for divine revelation or insight. The soul is in anticipation, ready to witness the truth that has been revealed to it. It symbolizes the soul's readiness to embrace spiritual wisdom and clarity after seeking and awaiting divine guidance. دید شخصی فاضلی پرمایه‌ای، آفتابی در میان سایه‌ای. He saw a person of great wisdom and value, a sun in the midst of a shadow. The verse symbolizes the appearance of a wise and enlightened figure in the midst of darkness or ignorance. The sun represents the illumination of truth and divine knowledge, which shines brightly even in challenging or obscured circumstances. It suggests the arrival of wisdom that can dispel ignorance and lead the soul toward spiritual awakening. می رسید از دور مانند هلال، نیست بود و هست بر شکل خیال. It approached from afar like a crescent moon. It neither existed nor not, but was in the form of a dream. The verse describes something spiritual that seems distant and hard to grasp. It's neither fully real nor completely imaginary, like a dream or a vision. It reflects the idea that spiritual truths or insights may feel unclear or mysterious, yet they hold deep meaning and can guide the soul. نیست وش باشد خیال اندر روان، تو جهانی بر خیالی بین روان. It is non-existent, yet a thought remains within the soul. You are a world seeing through a thought in the soul. This verse highlights the idea that the soul is shaped by thoughts and illusions which may seem really but are actually empty or non-existent. It suggests that our perception of the world is influenced by these thoughts, which are like fleeting dreams. The verse encourages the realization that we are not our thoughts and that true perception comes when we see beyond these illusions. بر خیالی صلحشان و جنگشان و از خیالی فخرشان و ننگشان. Based on their illusions of peace and war and from their illusions of pride and shame. It reflects how people's actions and emotions like peace, war, pride, and shame are often driven by illusions or false beliefs. It points to the idea that these feelings and concepts are not always grounded in reality, but are shaped by the mind's perceptions and misunderstandings. The verse encourages seeing beyond these illusions to find true peace and understanding. آن خیالاتی که دام اولیاست، عکس مهرویان بستان خداست. Those illusions that are the trap of the saints are reflections of the moon-faced ones in God's garden. This verse speaks of the illusions that even the saints may fall prey to. However, these illusions are not truly empty. They are reflections of the divine beauty represented by the moon-faced ones in God's garden. It suggests that while these illusions may seem deceptive, they still point toward the divine and reflect a higher spiritual truth. This verse emphasizes that the soul, even in its illusions, is drawn to the divine and must transcend them to reach ultimate truth. آن خیالی که شه اندر خواب دید، در رخ مهمان همی آمد پدید. The illusion that the king saw in his dream appeared clearly on the face of the guest. This verse suggests that a vision or illusion from the king's dream became manifest in the real world. Symbolized by the guest, it implies that what the soul experiences in a dream or vision has the potential to materialize or be reflected in the external world. This highlights the connection between inner spiritual states and their outward manifestation. The verse reminds us that spiritual insights or desires can influence and shape reality. شه به جای حاجبان فا پیش رفت، پیش آن مهمان غیب خیش رفت. The king moved forward in place of the attendants and went ahead toward his unseen guest. The verse symbolizes the soul's focus shifting from worldly distractions to a deeper spiritual pursuit. The soul now seeks divine truth, moving beyond earthly concerns toward a higher, unseen reality. هر دو بحری آشنا آموخته، هر دو جان بی دوختن بردوخته. Both have learned the ocean of knowledge. Both souls are bound without any stitching. The verse suggests that both the soul and its pursuit of knowledge are interconnected and deeply aligned. The souls are bound together by a deeper spiritual connection without the need for physical stitching, symbolizing unity and oneness with divine knowledge. It highlights how true understanding transcends physical form, binding the seeker and truth together in a spiritual bond. گفت معشوقم تو بودستی نه آن، لیک کار از کار خیزد در جهان. My beloved, it was you, not that one. But in the world, actions lead to consequences. This verse highlights the soul's realization that its true beloved has always been present, though it may have once sought fulfillment elsewhere. The second line suggests that in the world, every action has its own consequences, implying that the soul's journey is shaped by its choices and actions. The verse teaches that the soul's longing for the divine is fulfilled through actions aligned with higher truths. ای مرا تو مصطفی من چو عمر، از برای خدمتت بندم کمر. O Mustafa, I am like Umar to you. For your service I will gird my waist. In this verse, the speaker compares himself to Umar, who was a loyal servant and companion to the Prophet Muhammad. The king expresses complete submission to God, acknowledging that like Umar's dedication to the Prophet, he is fully committed to serving God with humility and respect. The act of girding his waist symbolizes the king's readiness to serve God with full devotion, emphasizing both obedience and humility in spiritual service. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the story and see you in the next time. Take care.